You know, guys, I was watching Sportcenter earlier, and one of the big topics that came up was the New York Knicks and the way they've been operating lately. And let me just tell you, it's official now. The Knicks are showing us exactly what direction they're going in. The conversation on the show really broke it all down, and when you listen closely, it becomes clear. The Knicks have been making move after move, and these aren't random additions. These moves are telling us everything about how they view their younger players and what the future of this roster is supposed to look like. Now, I know we've all been waiting to see what the plan was going to be. For months, we've had speculation, a lot of uncertainty. Were they going to lean into the young guys? Were they going to move them for veterans? Were they going to go all in on free agency? Well, over the past couple of weeks, especially here in September, the Knicks have essentially tipped their hand. They've gone on this crazy stretch of signings. I mean, name after name after name. We're talking Landry Shamet, Malcolm Brogdon, Garrison Matthews, Alex Len, Matt Ryan, and honestly, there are even more names in that pile. And let's not forget the trade they just made involving Moses Brown. The point is, the Knicks aren't sitting still, and every one of these moves is connected to what they want the roster to look like, not just for now, but for the next 2 or 3 years. And what the guys on Sportcenter pointed out, which I totally agree with, is that these signings also shine a light on who the Knicks might be phasing out. Because when you start bringing in this many players to compete for those depth spots, you're basically telling the world, we've seen enough of some of our young guys. We don't view them as central pieces anymore. That's the harsh reality of the NBA. Not everybody makes the cut. And when you sign this many players, you're inevitably squeezing others out of the picture. One of the most interesting names that came up was Dink Pate. Now, the Knicks just signed him to an Exhibit 10 deal. And if you watched Summer League, you know this kid turned heads. Sportcenter broke it down perfectly. This is a 6'8" guard. A true guard, not just a wing, who has the ball handling, the athleticism, and the upside to be something special. We're talking about a guy who, if developed properly, could end up playing 1 through 4 because of his size and skill set. The Knicks clearly wanted to lock his rights in, even if the plan, as reported by Stefan Bondy, is to waive him before training camp. That's the business side of the Exhibit 10. You waive the player, he gets his $58,000 or bonus, and then more often than not, he ends up on your G League roster. And let me just say this, Pate might technically be waived, but the Knicks don't want him going anywhere. They see him as a project worth investing in, and I actually think he's going to be in the mix for one of those two-way contracts. If you look back at his numbers with the Mexico City Capitanes and his time with G League Ignite, you can see why. He averaged double digits in scoring, grabbed boards, created for teammates, and while his jump shot has always been a question mark, there's a little hitch in it that scouts worry about, he quieted some of those doubts this past summer. In Summer League, he was putting up around 10 points a game, close to 6.5 rebounds, nearly 3 assists, and he shot almost 90% from the free throw line while knocking down half his threes. That's not just a guy trying to get by, that's a guy showing he can really impact a game in multiple ways. And on Sportcenter, they made the point that this is exactly the type of prospect the Knicks need to hold on to. You don't know if he'll become a starter or a star, but with his size, skill set, and mentality, he's the kind of young piece you want to develop in-house. So, yeah, it's official. The Knicks have shown their hand, and the moves are speaking louder than any press release could. They're adding veterans to solidify the rotation, but they're also protecting young talent like Dink Pate, signaling that they're building a blend of experience and future potential. And with all the speculation about Malcolm Brogdon, Landry Shamet, and how those deals could affect the rest of the roster, you just know this story is still developing. So after the segment about Dink Pate, Sportcenter shifted gears and started talking about the other names the Knicks have been signing, and honestly, this is where things really get interesting. The Knicks aren't just adding filler bodies for camp, they're targeting very specific profiles of young talent, and 2 of those names stood out, Bryson Warren and Muhammad Diawara. Now let me start with Warren, because this was one of those pickups that caught me off guard. The Knicks went out and signed him to an Exhibit 10 deal after acquiring his rights in that Moses Brown trade. And here's the thing, Warren is only 20 years old, 6'3", a wiry 174 pounds, but he's already shown he can put up numbers. Last season, with the Sioux Falls Skyforce, Miami's G League affiliate, he averaged over 11 points per game, along with nearly 4 assists and about 3 rebounds in limited minutes. That doesn't sound like much at first, but then you hear about the night he completely exploded. 40 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 steals against none other than the Westchester Knicks. That's the kind of performance you don't forget. And clearly, the Knicks didn't, because you could tell from the way Sportcenter framed it. New York saw what he did firsthand, and they decided, yeah, that's the kind of guy we want to bring in. The conversation on the show dug a little deeper, too. Warren has been grinding through Summer League for 2 years with Miami. His first go-round, he barely touched the court, but by his second summer, you could see the progress. In the California Classic, he was averaging double figures on really efficient shooting splits, 46% from the floor, 50% from deep, and over 80% from the free throw line. On top of that, he was giving you steals, rebounds, and playmaking. That's the profile of a young guard who hasn't had his breakthrough yet, but has all the ingredients to at least earn a spot in the league. And when you're the Knicks, and you're constantly looking for affordable depth, someone like Warren makes a ton of sense. He adds youth to the backcourt rotation, and he still has time to grow into something more. But the big story, and what Sportcenter really emphasized, was Mohamed Diawara. This is the Knicks' second-round pick from this year's draft, taken 51st overall, and they've now signed him to an Exhibit 10 deal as well. Diawara comes from France. He's only 21. And while his stats overseas don't jump off the page, that doesn't mean much in a European system where minutes and roles are so spread out. Last season between Paris Basketball and Poitiers Basket 86, he averaged about 6 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist in just 16 minutes a night. But what's important is that he was part of a Paris team that won the Euro Cup in 2024, which gave him high-level experience before even stepping into the NBA system. The report on Sportcenter made it clear that the Knicks have a long-term plan for him. Ian Begley even mentioned that the expectation is Diawara won't stay on an Exhibit 10 for long. The front office intends to bring him back after camp or early in the season on a rookie free agent deal. And by waiting a little bit, the Knicks save some money against that second apron. It's smart cap management, the kind of maneuvering you have to do when you're operating with such a tight payroll. What I loved most about Diawara's story was his own attitude. He came out and said flat out, "I'll take whatever role they give me. Standard deal, two-way, G League. I just want to be part of this plan." That's a 21-year-old showing maturity beyond his years. And you could tell from his comments that the Knicks gave him a vision for how he can fit in long-term. That matters. When a young player feels like the organization has a roadmap for him, it makes it easier to buy into the grind. And let's not ignore the trend here. The Knicks have now invested in French talent in back-to-back years. First, Pacome Dadier, now Diawara. They also brought in Gershon Yabusele this offseason. Clearly, the front office has noticed what's happening in French basketball, whether it's Wembanyama, Alex Sarr, or others, and they're buying in. And honestly, why not? France has become a hotbed for skilled, versatile forwards, and the Knicks are stacking their roster with that profile. On Sportcenter, they even floated the idea that this commitment probably means Dadiet isn't going anywhere in a trade. If you're doubling down on young French forwards, it wouldn't make sense to ship out the one you just drafted last year. And one last nugget that came up about Warren, while all this Knicks news is swirling, he's literally in China right now representing Team USA in the U23 3x3 World Cup. That says something about how much USA basketball values his skill set. So when you put it all together, it feels like New York is taking flyers on the right types of guys. They're cheap, they're young, they have upside, and they don't handcuff you financially. So to sum up this part of what I saw on Sportcenter, the Knicks are moving with intent. Warren gives them another developmental guard. Diawara fits their international scouting strategy, and both players buy them time while the front office continues to chase bigger fish. He was putting up steals, knocking down shots, and finishing around 40% from the field. So clearly, there's something there to work with. Yes, he's still raw, and yes, there are plenty of areas where development is needed, but the flashes are undeniable. You see moments where he really does look like that Pascal Siakam type of player, the exact kind of athletic, versatile forward that the Knicks are hoping to mold for the future. It's all about consistency now, and that's what this next stretch of games and practices is going to reveal. The big question is how it all plays out long-term. Will he take that next step and earn a deal? Or will it be somebody else in this group who emerges as the priority? Personally, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. My pick would be Dink Pate. No disrespect to Diawara whatsoever. He's got talent and upside. But for me, Dink Pate just looks a little bit further along at this stage. He has that extra polish in his game and maybe even a higher ceiling if the development staff continues to put him in the right spots. But this is the beauty of it. We'll all find out together. That's what makes following these preseason battles so fun, especially for a team like the Knicks, that's building both for right now and for the years ahead. So, Knicks fans, I'll throw it to you. What do you think of these latest moves? Who do you want to see locked into that rookie deal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I know this is a debate a lot of fans are having. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss a single update. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, go Knicks!